Hey, remember when you were a kid and you had Tony Hawk Pro Skater on the PlayStation? Yeah, okay, I sure didn't, because when I was a kid during the PS2 era, all I had was a PC we literally fished out of the dumpster and Pokemon Yellow. I still don't own any Pro Skater games outside of Pro Skater 5 for the PS3, but I'm just making an uninformed assumption that Pro Skater is a gold standard for what a skateboarding game should be. Anyway, and I swear I'm going somewhere with this, did you ever have Scholastic book fairs in your school once or twice a year? I vaguely remember them and their overpriced erasers, and I also remember them having PC games in the booklets. Now let's go back to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Think about how it looks, how it plays, how it sounds. Can you imagine what the Scholastic equivalent would look like? This is promising. This is less promising. Hold on.
Set, go!
Thrilling, isn't it? I'm never going to get a chance to talk about this project otherwise, but I genuinely built the best small form factor Windows XP PC that I could, which was made using a used Dell pre-built that I originally bought to try and avoid installing university-sanctioned malware onto my main PC. And if you think that it sounds like there should be more of a story there, you'd be right. Basically, it was like a special web browser to prevent cheating that sent absolutely everything that it could find to some central server somewhere. After some student in my department threatened a lawsuit because we computer science students all had confidential access to something, our department backpedaled hard, but other departments didn't. And back then, I was a university student. I couldn't afford a lawyer, but I could afford D-tier hardware in a sandbox for the 50% chance I'd have to install some shady shit to prevent me from cheating or whatever it was. Anyway, I spent more money than I should have for a PC whose sole purpose is to run games that Windows 10 can't, and so far, it works great. Except for this game. I'm not exactly sure what went wrong with Precision Skateboarding, but it does something weird with DirectX 5, and that causes the game to have epileptic fits. It hated the virtual machine, it hated real hardware, and sadly, there's no pretty visuals for us today. We gotta run the software renderer. Although, looking at this, I don't think you can do much to make the visuals better with tech from that era. Normally, I'd say that the game can't actually render to the screen properly is the biggest problem that a game could have. Somehow Precision Skateboarding manages to take what would normally be more than a reasonable complaint and say, I can do better than that. The controls are probably the most unresponsive of any game I've played, in that they can literally do absolutely nothing when you press the keys. I spent a bit of time trial and erroring my way through, quality assurance on literally any game ever, and I've made some reasonable conclusions. It's coded like shit. The game is very bad at knowing what state you're in, so if you want to win, you need to hit that one very specific order that lets your character go fast enough and not crash enough to hit the very necessary time extenders, and if you mess up, it makes the game unbeatable. Thing is, it controls alright for the first 30 seconds or so, lulling you into that false sense of security, and then it decides that it's had enough of your bullshit and it'll do whatever it wants, and you're at its unforgiving bedroom-coded mercy. That jump for no reason that you just saw? That wasn't me, that was the game doing it on its own. This ramp that I for some reason crashed down from, I hit jump multiple times. I know I hit jump, it didn't register it. Why? Hell if I know. I genuinely have no idea how it's coded like this. But then again, it's not like jumping will do you any good. Oh no, no. You better have lined that jump up perfectly, because in the spirit of games that hate you, like Castlevania, you're stuck in the direction you're going at the velocity you're going. Oh, turns out you hit a wall, like invisible wall. Yeah, well, hope you're a fan of taking a nap in the middle of the street, because until you tell your guy to get up, he'll just spin around on the ground, which moves the sky for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, there's only a couple of levels in this game, and this was the first one. I tried to beat it. I really did. I kept failing because the game always, without fail, broke down at some random point and made it either impossible to jump over obstacles you couldn't pass otherwise, or forced me into a jump that I couldn't get out of. My best attempt was when I fell down, glitched myself so hard that my animation was locked and I couldn't be hurt by anything, and no joke, started permanently accelerating while my camera was locked in place. I could literally outspeed the timer, and I probably would have beaten the race by borderline cheating. Well, except the game activated my cheat code for me. But unfortunately, the turning, which I neglected to mention is like trying to wade through a mixture of Shrek's swamp and a septic tank, wasn't fast enough for my character, and I hit a wall too hard and started going backwards up the hill at 200 miles per hour. And there was nothing that I could do to save myself. Let's talk about the music. There is none. Good. Let's talk about the billboards, though. There's two kinds of billboards. The ones advertising the company that made it, and a lot of text. The first kind scream corporate insecurity, and as for the second kind, well, since I can't force anti-aliasing since I have to use software rendering, I had to keep playing the game until they were more clear on the screen. And turns out there are Bible verses. Here's one. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. John 3:16. Okay, and what would believing in Jesus do here, actually? I believe Jesus was real, like the guy lived in Judea, made friends with prostitutes, he touched some leper, but like, how is my belief in him going to make this game better? Or, hey, Pantera, did you truly believe that throwing a Bible verse with no context is going to convert children? Imagine little Muhammad sitting at home in front of his devil box and telling his Muslim parents that he believes that Jesus was the one true prophet because of this game. Yeah, that'll never fucking happen. There's no point to adding this at all. You don't see Jesus coming down from heaven grinding his board against the side of the Eiffel Tower. No, see, that would be fucking rad. Why didn't we do that in our budget scholastic skateboarding game? Anyway, the one nice thing that I can say about this game is that it's not just a stupid races, it also features a stupid half-pipe mode, which is a race, but because there's less obstacles, it actually controlled alright, I guess. Granted, what you have to do is just go up the half-pipes without missing any of them, or else you fail. You don't really have to do any tricks, but like, there's sorta tricks. Okay, if I saw this in a real skateboarding event, I'd go wild. I did manage to beat the AI here, but that's it. There's just nothing else here. You get like a special you win graphic, and that's it. Ta-da! It's a big bag, stinky poo-poo diaper, and I'm so glad to have shoved it in my mouth after finding this used filth in a thrift store for $2. Did I at least find my time with precision skateboarding enjoyable? I mean, I've wasted more money on things that I've enjoyed less in this game, but I wouldn't say that this is really that different compared to hitting your shin on the edge of a coffee table. But since this game wants to teach me religion, here's a Bible verse as its final score. Beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order to be seen by them, for then you will have no reward from your Father who is in heaven. Matthew 6:1. Or in other words, don't shove religion down people's fucking throats. And if you do think of making a game to propagate Jesus, at least have it be half decent to back it up. I know I've said that for games like Right to Hell Retribution that you've got to see the shit for yourself, but precision skateboarding? It's a bigger source of constant disappointment than my upload schedule is to my viewers.
Zapomnienia w głowie myśli mam.